Have you picked up any of these 12 habits without even noticing? Have you ever caught yourself doing something and thought, when did I start acting like this? Aging is a journey full of wisdom, experience, and growth, but let's be honest, there are certain habits we pick up along the way that no one warns us about. Maybe it's becoming a little more stubborn, avoiding social events, or caring a little less about things that once seemed important. These changes happen so gradually that we often don't even realize they're shaping the way we live. But here's the thing, just because these habits are common doesn't mean they're inevitable. The way we age isn't just about time passing, it's about the choices we make every day. And if we can spot these sneaky little behaviors early, we can replace them with habits that keep us feeling energetic, confident, and connected to the world around us. In today's discussion, we're diving deep into 12 unexpected habits that many seniors develop, and more importantly, what you can do to avoid falling into these traps. Some of these might surprise you, and others might feel all too familiar. But no matter where you are on your journey, the good news is, it's never too late to make a change. Stick with us until the end, because some of these might just shift the way you think about aging, and how you can make the most of every single day. If you find yourself nodding along, don't forget to hit like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more life-changing insights. Now, let's jump right in. Have you ever caught yourself doing something you never used to do when you were younger, something small, yet strangely frustrating? Maybe you've started repeating yourself in conversations without realizing it, or perhaps you've noticed you're becoming more impatient with others. As we age, certain habits creep into our daily lives, some harmless, others quite unpleasant. The thing is, no one talks about these changes. They just happen. And before we know it, we've developed behaviors that can push people away, affect our health, or even make life more difficult than it needs to be. But here's the good news, awareness is the first step toward change. When we recognize these habits, we can take control, make small adjustments, and live our best years with confidence and grace. In today's video, we're diving into some of the most common yet rarely discussed habits seniors develop over time, habits that, if left unchecked, could negatively impact relationships, health, and overall happiness. Some of these might sound familiar, and others might surprise you. But one thing's for sure, you're not alone in this. Let's start with a habit that many people don't even realize they've developed, talking mostly about aches, pains, and health issues. It's natural, when you are younger, conversations revolve around work, kids, and plans for the future. But as we age, health becomes a bigger part of our daily lives. Aches and pains become more noticeable, doctor visits more frequent, and medical concerns take up more space in our thoughts. It makes sense that we'd want to talk about it. The problem? Constantly discussing health issues can make conversations feel negative and repetitive. Loved ones may feel concerned at first, but over time, they might start avoiding long conversations, simply because they know what to expect. Now, that doesn't mean you should suffer in silence. It's important to share your experiences, seek advice, and express concerns. But balance is key. Instead of letting health dominate your conversations, try shifting the focus. Ask others about their lives. Share positive stories. Talk about interests, hobbies, or memories. Not only does this make interactions more enjoyable, but it also helps keep your mind engaged with topics that bring joy and connection, rather than frustration. Another habit that tends to creep in with age? Becoming more resistant to change. This can manifest in many ways, whether it's refusing to try new technology, resisting new ideas, or sticking to routines even when they no longer serve you. Maybe you've noticed yourself saying things like, "I don't need to learn that," or "things were better in my day." And while it's true that experience brings wisdom, it's also important to remain open to new ways of doing things. Think about it. Technology, for example, has changed the way people communicate, learn, and even manage their health. Refusing to adapt can lead to isolation. Many seniors avoid smartphones or social media, thinking they don't need them. But these tools can actually make life easier, whether it's video calls with family, easy access to information, or even apps that help track medications and appointments. It's not just about technology, though. Resistance to change can affect how we interact with the world. Maybe a new restaurant opens up in your neighborhood, but you hesitate to try it because it's different from what you're used to. Or perhaps family members suggest a new routine or activity, but you push back, preferring to stick with what's familiar. The truth is, staying open to change keeps life exciting. It prevents boredom, keeps the brain active, and makes it easier to connect with younger generations. So instead of shutting down new experiences, approach them with curiosity. Ask questions. Try things at your own pace. You might be surprised at what you enjoy. Now, let's talk about another habit that many seniors unknowingly develop, neglecting personal hygiene in small but noticeable ways. Maybe it's skipping showers more often, forgetting to brush your teeth before bed, or not changing clothes as frequently as you used to. This isn't about vanity, it's about health, comfort, and maintaining a sense of self-respect. As we age, daily routines can feel like more of a chore. Bending down to put on shoes, standing in the shower for long periods, or even brushing thoroughly can become physically exhausting. But here's the thing, maintaining hygiene isn't just about appearances. It affects overall well-being. Poor hygiene can lead to infections, skin conditions, and even lower self-esteem. And when we feel less confident in our appearance, we may start avoiding social situations, which only leads to more isolation. The solution? Simplify hygiene routines in a way that still keeps you feeling fresh and confident. If standing in the shower is difficult, consider a shower chair. If brushing your teeth feels tedious, invest in an electric toothbrush. And if getting dressed seems like too much effort some days, set out comfortable, easy-to-wear outfits in advance so it doesn't feel like a hassle. Small adjustments can make a world of difference. And speaking of small things that make a big difference, let's talk about another subtle habit, interrupting conversations more often than before. You might not even realize you're doing it. Maybe you feel like you have a lot to say, or perhaps you're worried you'll forget your point if you don't say it immediately. But here's the thing, when conversations start feeling like a race to speak, they lose their natural rhythm. Others may start feeling like they're not being heard, or they might withdraw from longer conversations altogether. A good rule of thumb? Pause before speaking. If someone is sharing a story or expressing a thought, take a moment to fully absorb what they're saying before jumping in. And if you do have something important to add, acknowledging what they just said before responding can make a huge difference. A simple, "That's interesting, tell me more," or "I see what you mean," helps keep conversations engaging and balanced. By becoming more aware of these subtle habits, focusing too much on health, resisting change, neglecting hygiene, and unintentionally interrupting, we can take small steps toward making interactions more enjoyable and fulfilling. Aging is a journey, and every stage of life presents its own unique challenges and opportunities. But one thing remains true, we have the power to shape how we experience it. So, as we continue exploring these habits, think about which ones resonate with you the most. Have you noticed any of these behaviors in yourself or in someone you know? Recognizing them is the first step toward positive change. And the best part? Even the smallest adjustments can lead to a happier, healthier, and more connected life. As we go further down this list, you may start noticing a pattern. Many of these habits creep in so gradually that we don't even realize we've developed them. And once they become part of our daily routine, they can start affecting the way we interact with the world and how others perceive us. But here's the truth. Just because something has become a habit doesn't mean it has to stay that way. With a little awareness and a willingness to change, we can make adjustments that improve our quality of life, strengthen our relationships, and help us feel more connected and confident. Let's talk about another common habit, losing patience more easily. Have you noticed that little things seem to irritate you more than they used to? Maybe it's slow service at a restaurant, a long line at the grocery store, or a family member who takes too long to get to the point in a conversation. It's completely understandable. When we've lived a long life, we've seen and experienced so much that we sometimes feel like we don't have the time or energy for unnecessary delays. But here's the thing, impatience can create unnecessary stress. It raises blood pressure, makes interactions tense, and can push people away. Think about it, when we were younger, we probably had more patience for interruptions, mistakes, and delays. But as we age, we may start expecting things to go a certain way, and when they don't, frustration sets in faster. The problem is, that frustration doesn't just affect us, it affects the people around us, too. If we're constantly reacting with impatience, others may start walking on eggshells around us, unsure of what will set us off. Over time, this can create distance in relationships. So, what's the solution? Practicing mindfulness. When you feel irritation creeping in, take a deep breath before reacting. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 minutes? 5 hours? 5 days? Most of the time, the answer is no. Letting go of minor annoyances can lead to a more peaceful, enjoyable day. And remember, kindness and patience go a long way in making everyday interactions more positive. Now, let's talk about a habit that's a little harder to admit, becoming more critical of others. Have you ever found yourself thinking, people these days just don't have the same values, or young people don't know how to do things right? It's easy to slip into this mindset, especially when the world is changing so quickly. But constantly pointing out what's wrong, whether it's with family members, strangers, or society in general, can make conversations feel negative. Of course, having opinions and sharing wisdom is important. But there's a fine line between offering insight and coming across as overly critical. The reality is, every generation has its strengths and weaknesses. Instead of focusing on differences, try looking for common ground. If a younger family member does something in a way that seems strange to you, ask them about it instead of dismissing it. You might be surprised at what you learn. And when you find yourself wanting to point out a flaw in someone, consider whether saying it will actually help the situation, or if it's better left unsaid. Another surprising habit that many seniors develop over time? Holding on to clutter. It's completely natural, after a lifetime of collecting memories, souvenirs, gifts, and keepsakes, it's hard to let things go. Many of these objects have sentimental value, representing different chapters of life. But when the clutter becomes overwhelming, it can actually make daily life more stressful. Studies show that a cluttered environment can increase feelings of anxiety, make it harder to relax, and even lead to difficulty concentrating. And beyond that, too much clutter can become a safety hazard, increasing the risk of trips and falls. So if you've noticed that your home is becoming harder to navigate because of piles of papers and used items or furniture that's no longer functional, it might be time for a reset. Start small, choose one area, like a single drawer or shelf, and go through it with the mindset of keeping only what truly adds value to your life. If an object brings you joy or serves a practical purpose, keep it. But if it's something you haven't used or thought about in years, consider donating it, giving it to a family member, or letting it go altogether. The goal isn't to get rid of everything, it's to create a living space that feels comfortable, peaceful, and easy to manage. Speaking of creating a peaceful environment, let's talk about another habit that can impact well-being, spending too much time alone. As we age, social circles naturally shrink. Kids grow up and move away, friends relocate, and daily routines change. It's easy to slip into a pattern of spending more and more time alone, and before we know it, we've become isolated without even realizing it. Now, solitude isn't always a bad thing. Many people enjoy their own company and value quiet time. But too much isolation can lead to loneliness, and loneliness has been linked to a number of health concerns, including high blood pressure, depression, and even a weakened immune system. Humans are social creatures, we thrive on connection. So, if you've been spending more time alone than you'd like, consider small ways to reconnect. Call an old friend just to say hello. Join a local club or group that interests you. Even something as simple as chatting with a neighbor or striking up a conversation at the grocery store can make a difference. The key is to take small steps to stay engaged with the world around you. As we continue this journey of self-awareness, it's important to remember that none of these habits define who we are. They're simply patterns that develop over time, some helpful, some not so much. The good news? Every day is an opportunity to make small changes that lead to a happier, healthier, and more fulfilling life. As we wrap up this conversation, there's one more habit that sneaks up on many seniors over time: resisting change. It's something we all experience in one way or another. The world moves fast, technology evolves, and sometimes it feels like everything is changing too quickly. It's understandable to feel hesitant about new trends, new ways of doing things, or even shifts in our personal lives. But when we resist change too much, it can lead to frustration, isolation, and missed opportunities. Think about how much life has changed in just a few decades. The way we communicate, the way we get information, even the way we shop, it's all different now. And while it might feel easier to stick with what we know, embracing change can actually help us stay mentally sharp, socially engaged, and even happier. Instead of seeing change as a challenge, try approaching it as an opportunity. Learning something new, whether it's using a smartphone, joining a social media platform, or trying a new type of exercise, keeps the mind active and the spirit open. Another habit that often develops with age is neglecting personal appearance. Now, this doesn't mean that everyone suddenly stops caring about how they look, but it's easy to start prioritizing comfort over style, routine over self-care. Maybe getting dressed up feels unnecessary, or taking time for grooming doesn't seem as important as it once did. But the truth is, how we present ourselves can have a big impact on how we feel. Studies show that when people put effort into their appearance, they tend to feel more confident, more energized, and even more engaged with life. Taking the time to dress in clothes that make you feel good, keeping up with grooming, and maintaining a sense of personal style isn't about vanity, it's about self-respect. It's about feeling good when you look in the mirror and presenting yourself in a way that matches the vibrant, capable person you are. And finally, one of the biggest habits that can hold us back as we age is forgetting to enjoy the present moment. It's natural to reflect on the past. After all, a life well lived is full of memories, lessons, and experiences that shape who we are. And of course, thinking about the future is important, too. But sometimes, we get so caught up in what was or what's ahead that we forget to truly live in the now. The present moment is where life happens. It's in the conversations we have today, the small joys we experience daily, and the connections we continue to nurture. It's in laughing with a friend, enjoying a beautiful sunset, or savoring a favorite meal. Every day is an opportunity to create new memories, to appreciate what we have, and to make the most of the time we're given. So, if there's one takeaway from this discussion, let it be this: aging is not about decline, it's about adaptation. It's about recognizing the habits that no longer serve us and replacing them with ones that help us live fuller, richer, more connected lives. The good news? It's never too late to make small changes that have a big impact. If any of these habits resonated with you, or if you've noticed other patterns in yourself or loved ones, share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective and experiences could help someone else on their own journey. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our future discussions about living well at any age. Here's to embracing every stage of life with wisdom, joy, and a sense of purpose. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.